more about elephants than a person who has no elephants in their country, right?
Yeah.
But in many ways, our communities are socially disenfranchised to seem like we don't know about our environment. And what's really harmful is that we don't have enough representation in those spaces. Hey everyone, how are you doing today? My name is Nyasaina Komboka. I'm an environmental economist and the founder of the African Environmental Youth Advisory. And today I'm joined with my wonderful colleagues, and I'll let them introduce themselves to you.
My name is Cicely Wijenje. I'm an international lawyer and the vice president of the African Environmental Youth Advisory.
My name is Jeremiah, the project coordinator at African Environmental Youth Advisory.
And today we had the wonderful opportunity to interview Dr. Mordecai Ogada, who wrote the book The Big Conservation Lie. We had a lot of wholesome conversations, but I just want to come to my counterparts and ask them what stood out to you about about the book and the interview that we had with Dr. Ogada. Cece, I'll start with you.
Honestly, it's the politics behind the environmental space. This is something that I never thought politics would be behind, but it influences every single thing from who's picked to be head of KWS, KFS, these wildlife institutions. Watch out because they're politically backed.
And we're not saying that you come for us, we're youngins, but we're just we're just analyzing society, okay? Please be kind to us. But I think it's really important to have that outlook into society, especially as young people. What I always say is that young people are the observers of society. We've had a very long time to sit back and absorb a lot of the things. And, when we finally get our voice, it's really important to talk about that. But definitely, politically inclined conservation space is a big deal. How about you, Jeremiah?
For me, I would also say the discussion was quite rich, and also looking at the book in terms of what it reveals about the conservation space. I'll tie to what Sisi has said: politics, capitalism. Unfortunately, the work that we've been doing as a nation in the conservation space is not really coming from an altruistic point of view or point of action. Yeah, it's just center based or personally fueled for personal gains.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of individual strive when you are in the conservation space. I think that for me, what stood out most as an economist was the different levels of economic exploitation that happens in the conservation field. Number one, in the tourism industry, we're not getting enough of the value of what tourism brings into the country. Majority of that money is going to foreign institutions. On top of that, we have the issue of the media. In the beginning chapters of the book, we come to learn about how the animal discovery channels, right? Animal Planet, National Geographic are primarily led by Western nations, but these are, videos and documentaries shot in our land with our people. But a lot of the times when you see, okay, where are the Africans, where are the black people in these spaces, they're considered as, the people who carry the luggage, but they're never considered as the people who hold that intellectual knowledge. When in reality, we know more about our land than anyone who hasn't been there, right? We know more about elephants than a person who has no elephants in their country, right? But in many ways, our communities are socially disenfranchised to seem like we don't know about our environment. And what's really harmful is that we don't have enough representation in those spaces. African led, narrators saying what has actually happened in these specific spaces. And I think still on the lens of media, we got to talk about how one of the environmentalists, Jane Goodall, is inspired by the movie Tarzan. But Tarzan on its own has its own issues when it comes to representation, because how is a European child raised in an African forest by, was it monkeys or gorillas?
Gorillas.
By gorillas. How could that quite literally happen? That could not happen because our people, we know our land. If there was a child in the forest, you would hear about this child in the forest and we would come in and take you in. But why is this idea that, oh no, you're in Africa, you're being raised by animals? Or if we look at the Lion King,
The film.
It just
Yeah.
shows that no film
Uh-huh.
is safe from propaganda.
No.
Something like The Lion King,
Uh-huh.
Mordecai was talking about the voiceovers being
Yes.
done. He was like, these are American voices.
Yeah.
This is
British.
British or American. Where are the
Yeah.
African voices being
Yeah.
told? And even if you look at the story of The Lion King, he
Yeah.
was saying that some of his research was
Hyenas.
unfunded
Yeah.
or defunded. I'm not sure.
Unfunded.
Unfunded
Yeah.
because of the hyenas. The hyenas were seen as evil in The Lion King, and the people who were funding his project on hyenas decided to pull out because the
imagine?
hyenas were seen as these
Villains.
evil
Evil
To the
animals through a film. So there's
A
a children's film, right? So there are so many different levels in how conservation in Africa is exploited.
Yeah.
And there's so much more that we need to learn. But for now, let's wrap up this video.
Yeah.
And you guys should definitely come and check the next video where we talk about the different things that are actually going right within the conservation space in Africa. My name is Nyasaina,
I'm Cece.
Jeremiah.
and we'll see you in the next video.
Bye.
Bye.